the quiet math behind every financial crash. Every crash looks different on the surface. Different markets, different triggers, different headlines. But beneath them all, the same mathematics waits quietly. To understand why financial collapses keep repeating, we have to move past greed and panic and look at structure. Markets are often described as emotional machines, driven by fear and optimism. But emotions alone do not create crashes. Systems do. Modern finance runs on models. Equations estimate risk, price assets, and balance portfolios. These formulas promise stability by spreading danger across many parts. The assumption is simple. If risk is divided finely enough, no single failure can bring everything down. For a while, this works. Markets grow. Confidence builds. Volatility appears controlled. The math reassures everyone that the system is safe. But hidden inside these models is a fragile assumption that risks are independent, that failures remain isolated. As markets expand, connections multiply. Assets become linked through contracts, leverage, and shared expectations. Small movements echo across the system. What once looked diversified slowly becomes synchronized. The equations do not notice this change. They still treat risk as scattered, still predict stability, still signal safety. And because the math appears calm, behavior adjusts. Leverage increases, margins shrink, exposure grows. By the time the first crack appears, the system is already primed. The crash is not caused by panic. Panic is caused by the crash. And the math has been whispering its approach all along. As stress builds invisibly, the models continue to report normal conditions. Historical data suggests rare events are unlikely. Volatility measures remain low. Risk appears priced correctly. This false calm is not deception. It is extrapolation. The equations assume the future will resemble the past. They rely on averages, distributions, and correlations that held under previous conditions. But markets are adaptive. Behavior changes in response to the models themselves. When everyone uses similar math, diversity disappears. This is where fragility emerges. Strategies converge. Portfolios align. Liquidity depends on shared assumptions. A system that appears spread out becomes tightly coupled beneath the surface. When a shock finally arrives, it does not need to be large. A missed payment, a sudden revaluation, a shift in confidence. The trigger is often mundane. What matters is timing. The system has lost its ability to absorb it. Correlation spike. Assets once thought independent move together. Models that assume smooth behavior encounter cliffs. Automated responses accelerate the fall. Selling triggers more selling. Protection mechanisms amplify damage instead of containing it. The conflict deepens because the math did not fail. It did exactly what it was designed to do. It optimized for efficiency, not resilience. It reduced risk locally while increasing it globally. The warning signs were always present. They were simply averaged away. As losses spread, confidence collapses faster than prices. The models that once guided decisions are abandoned in real time. Human judgment rushes back in, but too late. Liquidity vanishes. Trust evaporates. What was efficient in calm conditions becomes lethal under stress. This is the emotional peak of every financial crash. Not fear, but realization. The moment when participants see that the safety net was an illusion, that the equations assumed a world that no longer exists. Attempts to stabilize the system often worsen the damage. Forced selling pushes prices lower. Margin calls cascade through institutions. Interventions lag behind events. Each corrective action arrives after the system has already moved on. The deeper conflict lies in incentives. Risk models reward short-term stability. They encourage leverage during calm periods and punish caution. Those who question the math appear inefficient, even irrational, until the crash proves them right. What repeats across history is not greed alone, but misplaced trust. Trust in averages. Trust in smooth curves. Trust that rare events stay rare. Mathematics becomes a shield against responsibility rather than a lens for understanding. The crash exposes what the models hid. Risk was never eliminated. It was compressed. And compression always seeks release. The resolution begins when finance relearns a forgotten lesson. Stability is not the absence of movement. It is the ability to survive it. Crashes do not happen because mathematics is wrong. They happen because mathematics is asked the wrong questions. After each collapse, models are adjusted, parameters shift, new safeguards are added, but the core mistake often remains. Efficiency is still rewarded over resilience. Short-term calm is still mistaken for long-term safety. The deeper change comes when systems are designed to expect failure, when diversity is protected instead of optimized away, when stress is tested, not averaged out, markets that allow small losses regularly avoid catastrophic ones later. Mathematics still matters, but its role changes. Instead of predicting exact outcomes, it maps fragility. Instead of promising safety, it highlights exposure. The goal becomes awareness, not certainty. Every financial crash is a reminder. Risk does not disappear when ignored. It accumulates, it concentrates, and eventually it demands to be seen. Understanding the math does not prevent collapse. Respecting its limits might. Subscribe to join the journey.